short, intense silence. Then there comes a sound. It is the rattle of the latch being slowly lifted. At that, I am filled with desperation. I will not go forward another step. I make a vast effort to return, but it is as though I press back upon an invisible wall. I groan out loud in the agony of my fear, and the sound of my voice is frightening. Again comes that rattle, and I shiver, clammily. I fight and struggle to hold back, but it is no use. I am at the door, and in a mechanical way I watch my hand go forward to undo the topmost bolt. It does so, entirely without my volition. Even as I reach up toward the bolt, the door is violently shaken, and I get a sickly whiff of moldy air, which seems to drive in through the interstices of the doorway. I draw the bolt back, slowly, fighting dumbly the while. It comes out of its socket with a click, and I begin to shake, aguishly. There are two more. One at the bottom of the door, the other, a massive affair, is placed about the middle. For perhaps a minute I stand with my arms hanging slackly by my sides. The influence to meddle with the fastening of the door seems to have gone. All at once there comes the sudden rattle of iron at my feet. I glance down quickly and realize, with an unspeakable terror, that my foot is pushing back the lower bolt. An awful sense of helplessness assails me. The bolt comes out of its hold with a slight ringing sound, and I stagger on my feet, grasping at the great central bolt for support. A minute passes, an eternity, then another. My God, help me! I am being forced to work upon the last fastening. I will not! Better to die than to open to the terror that is on the other side of the door. Is there no escape? God help me, I have jerked the bolt half out of its socket. My lips emit a hoarse scream of terror. The bolt is 3 parts drawn now, and still my unconscious hands work towards my doom. Only a fraction of steel between my soul and that. Twice I scream out in a supreme agony of my fear. Then, with a mad effort, I tear my hands away. My eyes seem blinded. A great blackness is falling upon me. Nature has come to my rescue. I feel my knees giving. There is a loud, quick thudding upon the door, and I am falling. I must have lain there at least a couple of hours. As I recover, I am aware that the other candle is burnt out, and the room is in an almost total darkness. I cannot rise to my feet, for I am cold, and filled with a terrible cramp. Yet my brain is clear, and there is no longer the strain of that unholy influence. Cautiously, I get upon my knees and feel for the central bolt. I find it, and push it securely back into its socket, then the one at the bottom of the door. By this time I am able to rise to my feet, and so manage to secure the fastening at the top. After that, I go down upon my knees again, and creep away among the furniture, in the direction of the stairs. By doing this, I am safe from observation from the window. I reach the opposite door, and as I leave the study, cast one nervous glance over my shoulder toward the window. Out in the night, I seem to catch a glimpse of something impalpable, but it may only be a fancy. Then I am in the passage, and on the stairs. Reaching my bedroom, I clamber into bed, all clothed as I am, and pull the bedclothes over me. There, after a while, I begin to regain a little confidence. It is impossible to sleep, but I am grateful for the added warmth of the bedclothes. Presently I try to think over the happenings of the past night, but though I cannot sleep, I find that it is useless to attempt consecutive thought. My brain seems curiously blank. Toward morning I begin to toss uneasily. I cannot rest, and after a while I get out of bed and pace the floor. The wintry dawn is beginning to creep through the windows, and shows the bare discomfort of the old room. Strange that, through all these years, it has never occurred to me how dismal this place really is. And so a time passes. From somewhere downstairs a sound comes up to me. I go to the bedroom door and listen. It is Mary, bustling about the great old kitchen, getting the breakfast ready. I feel little interest. I am not hungry. My thoughts, however, continue to dwell upon her. How little the weird happenings in this house seem to trouble her. Except in the incident of the pit creatures, she has seemed unconscious of anything unusual occurring. She is old, like myself, Yet how little we have to do with one another. Is it because we have nothing in common, or only that, being old, we care less for society than quietness? These and other matters pass through my mind as I meditate, and help to distract my attention for a while from the oppressive thoughts of the night. After a time I go to the window and, opening it, look out. The sun is now above the horizon, and the air, though cold, is sweet and crisp. Gradually my brain clears, and a sense of security for the time being comes to me. Somewhat happier, I go downstairs, and out into the garden to have a look at the dog. As I approach the kennel, I am greeted by the same moldy stench that assailed me at the door last night. Shaking off a momentary sense of fear, I call to the dog, but he takes no heed, and after calling once more, I throw a small stone into the kennel. At this he moves uneasily, and I shout his name again, but do not go closer. Presently my sister comes out and joins me in trying to coax him from the kennel. In a little the poor beast rises, and shambles out, lurching queerly. In the daylight he stands swaying from side to side, and blinking stupidly. I look, and note that the horrid wound is larger, much larger, and seems to have a whitish fungoid appearance. My sister moves to fondle him, but I detain her, and explain that I think it will be better not to go too near him for a few days. It is impossible to tell what might be the matter with him, and it is well to be cautious. A moment later she leaves me, coming back with a basin of odd scraps of food. This she places on the ground near the dog, and I push it into his reach with the aid of a branch broken from one of the shrubs. Yet, though the meat should be tempting, he takes no notice of it, but retires to his kennel. There is still water in his drinking vessel, so, after a few moments' talk, we go back into the house. I can see that my sister is much puzzled as to what is the matter with the animal, yet it would be madness even to hint the truth to her. The day slips away uneventfully, and night comes on. I have determined to repeat my experiment of last night. I cannot say that it is wisdom, yet my mind is made up. Still, however, I have taken precautions, for I have driven stout nails in the back of each of the 3 bolts that secure the door opening them from the study into the garden. This will, at least, prevent a recurrence of the danger I ran last night. From 10 to about 2:30 I watch, but nothing occurs, and finally I stumble off to bed, where I am soon asleep. End of chapter 25. Recording by Alan Winterowd. Boomcoach.blogspot.com